Tokyo Olympics 2020, just a few days to commence, and we are at the National Olympics Committee of Sri Lanka to have a chat with our president, Mr. Suresh Subramaniam, who has been working very tirelessly and under very difficult circumstances. Good evening, Mr. Subramaniam.
Good evening.
Let me start off. What has been the challenges of picking the team, and also how have you overcome these challenges?
See, let me say challenges are one thing I'm used to, because from the time you start hitting the ball or in any sport, it's a challenge. So challenge is one thing I'm very happy to take on. But this time the challenge, we didn't know our enemy. So it was a very big challenge, not only for me, for the whole world. When this pandemic, I don't have to tell you, it was a huge challenge. Let me break it down. The challenge was first for the IOC postponing the event. I think the postponement was the easy thing. But difficulty is you got to keep in mind you are postponing an event by 1 year, where these players has to make sure they are trained to do a job that has been postponed by a year. So which means they got to keep training for another year, which was a very, very difficult thing. That is on the side of the players. Look at the administrators, coaches, officials. Everybody's targets have been shifted, the goalposts have been shifted. So it was a tough thing, and country like us, it became even difficult because the simple reason is, Amitha, most of our athletes, they were training in Sri Lanka, rather Colombo. But they are boys and girls from outside Colombo. So when the lockdown came in, after a week or two, they decided to go back to their home village. Now what do? They can't train, they don't have the facilities, they are not allowed to leave the house. Some of the parents are so happy their children had come back. They started eating their home food, they started gaining weight. So it was a huge challenge for us. So what to do as Olympic Committee? Even we had to work from home. I was able to bring in a lot of past captains, past presidents in various sports. We used Zoom conferences, made sure these athletes are kept motivated. And then in National Olympic Committee ran educational program for the coaches, for the administrators, so that we were at least for a week, 6 hours, we were involved doing motivational program for the athletes and educational program for various coaches and all that. So that way we were able to make sure they were not left alone. We were part of it, and also I must tell you, Amitha, under the Army Commander General Shavendra Silva being the National Sports Selection Committee, I was able to approach their unit. The Army unit helped a lot of these athletes by providing rations, all that were done, so that some of them didn't even have access to those. So I was very grateful. Then coming back, now we are just a couple of days away from the Olympics. We had all of us to be vaccinated. Again, I had to turn to him, and he made sure all our athletes, coaches, officials, all vaccinated. So yes, challenges, but we met the challenges.
Yes, as Mr. Subramaniam said, he's used to facing challenges and playing the ball, an eminent and former Sri Lankan tennis player. Mr. Subramaniam, what is your expectation of our team at the Olympics this time?
My expectations are very simple. They must go, they must be proud that they are representing the country, and I'm hoping all will win the medal, all can win, but it's not that easy. It's easy for me to say all, but they have to give their best. As I told somebody, 2 sports qualified on merit. There is gymnastics and equestrian. They got qualified on merit. Even the 100-meter runner, but though his timing is still not up to it. Outside chance somebody is going to pull. I don't know who, somebody will pull, because we have, as Olympic Committee and the National Federation, Ministry of Sport, we have done our best. As Susantika very recently, when we had the Team Lanka launch, she said that she never had any of these easy passage for her to go and win. She had so many obstacles. So she herself told the athlete that you all have blessed, you all have been given everything that you all wanted. It's up to you to go and perform. So our athletes are eager and determined to do. So I hope they will do their best. Because to me to win a medal, you see, I'm involved only last 3 years. I don't think in 3 years you can produce medals. So last 3 years we had paid the wave, and we had wave for our children and the athletes what I am expecting on what they are supposed to do. So on our NOC part, we had done our best. So it's up to them to perform now.
Matilda Carlson, equestrian show jumping for women. Can you explain this event itself, Suresh, and then how we're taking part for the first time, and what are our chances on that?
No, you see, Matilda Carlson, she came to NOC maybe 3 to 4 years ago, and she showed her records, and she had won a couple of events, and she wanted to represent Sri Lanka. So we were only too happy. Our secretary got involved and organized the Sri Lankan passport, though she had been living in Sweden for a long time. It's a very expensive sport. Her parents have spent a lot of money and still continue to spend money. When she did well, we had put her name down and we had encouraged her. The sport is unknown to Sri Lanka. Though we have a federation here, I don't think anybody had reached these heights or even to the national heights. Having said that, when she was participating under Sri Lankan flag, it became that much easier because there were no other participants from Sri Lanka or in the neighboring countries. Though when I say India, Pakistan, not much. So it was very easy for her to compete in this region. So she did well. So just before the lockdown, I'm talking 2020, there were certain events that she participated and she did very well. The events called Saint-Tropez, she got the 10th place, and again 2 events in Saint-Tropez is in France. She became 8th. So with that her ranking improved. Then she was automatically qualified. Lockdown came in. As you know, most of the sports in Asian region got cancelled. So she could not participate in this region event. Not only her, a lot of our other athletes. So naturally her ranking came down, and somebody else were, naturally. So whereas IOC has to intervene and said no. Qualifying date was sometime last year. If anybody who had qualified, that's the arrangement. When they postponed the event, that was the arrangement for all the sports. They had almost 60% of the sports qualified was done. So this fell into that category. So IOC through CAS got involved and gave a ruling. As at that day, she's qualified and she will remain. She's still training. In fact, today she's taking part in a competition tomorrow. She's still training. She's training very hard. Show jumping is very dangerous sport, so I hope and pray that nothing goes wrong. And first time for Sri Lanka, so we didn't know. Let me tell you an interesting part. We had to accredit various people to go in for these sports. So there was a request for 8 people to represent for this particular sports. So when you say 8, all of them are foreigners, nobody from here except the manager who is going. Horse trainer, the groomer, veterinary surgeon, dietitian for the horse, then the dietitian for the rider, trainer for a rider, and the horse owner also has to go. But IOC, with this current situation, IOC did not agree and they only gave 4 people. So we had to give her a choice who are the 4. Usually, at the end of the day, she only will know who are the. So there are 4 people going, all 4 are foreigners. Likewise, even though your question was only equestrian, let me touch on the gymnastic, also new to us. First time Sri Lanka got qualified. There again, this player wanted so many to accompany. Unfortunately, IOC gave only 2, so therefore choice was her 2. Whoever she wants, we allow. That is her coach who have been working with her from younger days, and the secretary who have been helping her. So those 2 she had wanted, so those 2 are going. And the Japanese coach who have been training her also going to be on the ring side. So these are things. So it's an interesting sport. First time I'm going to see it, so I cannot say much about it. I will certainly be able to elaborate when I return.
Yes, I hope they both, as they are new sports for Sri Lanka, they'll do well at the Olympics. Let's hope and pray. Mr. Subramaniam, on the wild card entry, can you just explain the concept and how it works?
See, wild card entry is something like this. They call it it is wild card, but in the IOC parlance they call it tri-party agreement. When you say tri-party agreement, that is between the International Federation, IOC, NOC is involved. Right. So, for instance, now this gymnastic, she originally qualified on tri-party agreement. When you say tri-party agreement, she did very well, but she didn't meet the criteria at the time of selection. But there were few other events were coming. So then what happened? Then they looked at it. Okay, she's the best girl because she trained in Japan, supported by IOC. So IOC first give preference to them. But of course they have to have their, they have to maintain the criteria. Somebody just because you are IOC, so she had the criteria. So when they looked at it, she was selected. I still remember at that time we had a choice of accepting that or wait. We still had time, wait for a week and accepting getting her on her merit. So we waited. Since we had time, we waited for that. Then she got selected on her merit because a couple of events she did well, we put on. So when she was selected on merit, which means we had a choice of another wild card for another sport. Same sport you won't get. So how it comes in, for instance, if you take Niluka, when he started the Olympic thing, he was about 166 in the world ranking, he didn't have a chance. Whether it's a wild card or otherwise, he didn't have a chance. So when he wanted to train, I still remember Niluka is the chairman of the Athlete Commission. Athlete Commission also sits on the NOC board. So Niluka, while we on the board, he sent me a proposal. Sir, this is the proposal I want to participate in the Olympic in the same room. So I rejected his proposal. I said no, I cannot fund you. Rejected. Entire board was unhappy that I did, but nobody questioned me. After the meeting is over, Niluka asked me, sir, what is the reason that you rejected me? I said, yes, I rejected you because you have already participated 2 Olympics. So to participate the 3rd Olympic, I am not there to spend. I will give it to a youngster who will be useful. So if you assure me that you are going to lose weight and you are going to play for nationals, which is coming up, and you should win the nationals, if you can do these 2, let me consider you. So he said, okay. So he went, to be honest, he lost 15 kilos in weight and he won the nationals. Then I didn't have a choice. Then I spent him and sent him. So he dropped to 99. About a month ago, his ranking dropped to 99. Then he had a chance of, he the best year in the world. Also, when they give wild card to various countries, they will not take more than 2 players into the draw from one country. The 3rd slot go to the deserving and the higher ranking player. So Niluka automatically got in that way. Even for tennis is the same story. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody in the top 100. That's how it works. So they, if say 10 players in one country, they will not give all 10. They will only take 2. With IOC, you want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to participate. That's the only way you can. So most of the wild cards out of the 3 people who have got on merit, the others were on wild card, but they were the best in our country. And also the wild card is applicable to the rest of the world. So they have to choose the best out of the lot. If we had suppose Niluka was 166, he didn't have a chance. So that's how the wild card is given.
As the chairman of the National Olympics Committee here in Sri Lanka, what are your future plans of improving athletics and also any plans of adding on new sports for the Olympic competitions?
At the moment, we have 34 Olympic sports in Sri Lanka. So I am very honored and proud to say this is the first time we have 7 disciplines participating. First time. So with these 7 disciplines. Unfortunately, this time we missed out on archery. The boy went to the 2nd round. If he had won one more round on the qualifying, which took place a month ago, he had a chance. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So missed archery. We missed wrestling also the same way. again, the boy, he went for his qualifying round. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So as far as the future is concerned, if we continue the same way, the way we are continuing, because we need National Olympic Committee, the National Federation and the Ministry of Sports, we have to work hand in glove. If we work the same way, because National Federation in this country is there to produce champions. All the support to produce the champions are given by the Ministry of Sports. We are there to make sure that they get medals. These are the three functions. Medals is our job. So first they have to become a champion, then we take them out and train them with all our support and backing we have. So what we did this time was, which is maybe not our purview, but we cannot ignore saying it's not our purview, is where we are being going wrong. You know, your brothers, all of them were great sportsmen. They know once you leave school, where do they go? If they don't make it to the national team, they are lost out. So we had come in between now and saying, look, we'll take you on. It takes something like maybe 3 to 4 years before they get into the national side. So we can't afford to lose them. So we had stepped in and started the junior development program under the chairmanship of Shirantha Piri, very knowledgeable guy. And we had got one sponsor, Chris Bro, who is sponsoring us. So we have picked up 24 athletes island-wide in different sports. They have been given a stipend of 50,000 rupees to make sure that their basics are met. Every weekly we are looking at their progress. They have to keep updating on the website, so we exactly know what athlete is doing. And we want to make sure from the junior level they continue without any break. You see, end of the day, once they leave school, if they don't go to university, they want to work and all that. So we want to tell them, look, next 5 years we'll back you from leaving school, so that you are in the sport. Then we will make sure if they make it, good for all of us. So those are the things we have to make sure the athlete is comfortable. They must be comfortable and confident that we won't let them down. That is very important. So that is what we are doing at the moment.
Is, as you mentioned, the Chris Bro Next Champion initiative. How does it help? How do you all work together with them, and what is the plan for the future on that with those sponsors?
No, you see, we have signed up agreement with them for next 3 years. So there is a portal that have been initiated, and all these athletes, 24 athletes I mentioned, they have the portal. So they will say, one is their requirement, diet, what they are doing, what their coach is doing. If there is an athlete, 100-meter athlete, what is their timing? Every day, every week is posted. They may need spikes, or they need, so those are the posted, so we make sure it is given. As I told you, up to 50,000 rupees worth, we keep sending them even money. You got to make sure they are very, very comfortable, so that they don't have to think, where do I go for my spike or my, so they must be free. So their job is only concentrate on running or playing football or whatever sport they are involved. So we, as I told you, we have picked up 24, including golf this time. And tennis, no, still not, nobody is committed on tennis yet. At the end of the day, it's a commitment that they are also willing to make. It's not only us, the children must commit, their parents must commit, the school that they are going, they must back. Then only it makes it easy. So all of us has to work together if we want to win a race. So that's why sometimes it's very hard when a player going and only one person is allowed to accompany. No, that person, one person didn't, many supported him. But unfortunately, all of us can't go. So it's a tough task, but anyway, what to do? Whatever we have to do, what is possible.
Mr. Subramaniam, thank you very much for spending your very valuable time with us at this time and sharing your thoughts on the Olympics. So wish you all the best and all the team members. I hope we bring back a medal.